Friday. It is Thrive O'Clock. We're so glad you're here. My name is Melody McAllister. I'm dressed a little 80s. It's my last day of being in my 30s. I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 tomorrow. So I dressed up a little bit. I hope you don't mind. It makes me happy. Rachelle, how are you doing? It's great to see you.
It's great to see you. And I want to say happy early birthday, first of all. Second of all, I did think about pulling out something 80s like my roller skates, or I wasn't going to pull out the cowboy hat again, but I figured I would just let you dress up and I would just stay the way that I was. I didn't want to take away from your celebration. So, but I'm good. It's Friday. I survived this week. Well, I think it was a year this week, and it's Friday the 13th. So it's all good. But yeah, all is good in the world.
It's Friday the 13th and it's World Kindness Day. And I think that it was very weird to have both of those days aligned on our calendar. But we're making it. Yeah.
We are.
Yes. And it's so good to see you. Again, thank you to everybody who's joining us, whether you're in one of our Facebook communities, whether you're right here in Thrive and Thrive and EDU in Facebook, or whether you're joining us from Twitter. We are so glad you're joining us today. Feel free to tell us your favorite 1980s song, or what you did for World Kindness Day, anything like that. And Rachelle, will you tell us, please, about our amazing guest that we have on today?
I look at you. Yeah, I am really excited about today. I've been anxiously awaiting for this just because everybody will know whenever they come on, but we have Molly and Weston Kieschnick on today, and I'm so excited to have them both here. So welcome.
Yay. Thanks, ladies. Thanks for having us.
Yay. Woo. Friday.
You guys are exciting. Like, I had never met them before, and we were all just like, we're family now. So it's so fun.
We're
bestie friends.
We are tight. We're tight. We're going to come. We're going to do happy hour, dress up in 80s clothes tonight. Make it happen.
You don't even have to have your Madonna wear. It's okay. You do whatever you do. Tell us.
Tease my hair out. Won't take much.
Mm-hmm. Tell us where you're coming from, and tell us all about you, because you guys are very exciting.
Yeah, so we are coming from. I appreciate that you think we're exciting. Yeah. Tell our children, please.
I know, please.
We're coming from Denver, Colorado. Molly and I are authors of Breaking Bold, and we host a podcast together, Teaching Keating. If anyone is ever looking to test the threshold of your relationship with your spouse or significant other, I'd recommend you write a book and host a podcast together while you're also raising children. Yeah. And doing your jobs in the midst of global pandemic. Super awesome.
We're still married, so it's good. Yeah.
Well, you guys seem like you laugh a lot. Is that right?
We have time.
It was funny because I was just talking to a superintendent who was listening to the podcast and said, I wish my wife laughed at me I wish my wife laughed at my jokes as much as Molly laughs at yours. And I'm like, no, listen to the podcast again. She's laughing at me.
I do. He is really funny, so I actually do laugh with him a lot. But some of just his day-to-day nuances, because I live with him, I do laugh at some of the shenanigans happening.
We won't get into those, but we'll just blow by.
Okay,
he's funny. Yeah.
I know sometimes it gets a little even though we're in the same space, I'm talking over you. I apologize for that. It's always that little weird stuff of being in the same space, but not really. But so for those of us who aren't super familiar with Breaking Bold.
Yes.
Hi, buddy.
That's perfect time.
For those of us who aren't super familiar with Breaking Bold, do your podcast and your book go hand in hand?
We started the podcast first, and then a lot of the conversations that were coming out of the podcast sort of just evolved into a lot that we talk about in the book. So we started just because we were having conversations just day to day, because we're both teachers. We've both been in education for a long time. So really coming home and talking shop, and then we'd have to shut it down. But it was just sort of ongoing conversations that we were having, after we put the kids to bed at night when we were teaching, what we'd see. The experiences that we were having in our classrooms, and then it sort of just evolved from there.
Yeah, so they're not directly linked, but there's tons of crossover. So in the podcast, Rachelle, you're such an awesome, loyal listener, and you're always a prolific sharer of our stuff. I'm just getting close to you.
I know, you just
don't you love it?
You're out here. It's driving me crazy. I'm trying to
But obviously, you can see in the book, you can see on the podcast, we love education, we love parenting, and we love pop culture.
Yeah.
And all of those things collide in the book. They collide in the podcast, and so there's overlap everywhere.
We wanted it to be really palatable and not necessarily like, I don't know how many educational books you guys read or like what, but it just, from all of the experience and the ones that I had read, it felt like really kind of heady, but not a lot of practical knowledge and not anything that was super relatable. So that's really sort of what we went for in the book, which is just like, we just want to make fun of ourselves a lot. We want to tell a lot of goofy stories of things that actually happened, but we want it to be relatable and also useful, and not so cumbersome that you can't read it and then actually use it in your classroom, because otherwise what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right?
We absolved ourselves immediately of the responsibility to like, well, I hope people think we're smart. Yeah. I really don't care. That's rarely the goal in any conversation I have with anyone. Yeah. It's more just like, okay, like let's put out something that we think is readable and useful. And the way that that's resonated with the education population and the parent population is overwhelming.
Yeah, people have been so supportive, astoundingly so. Not like we're not surprised or thankful. Like we're really grateful that people are reading it.
I'm surprised.
But
I'm surprised every day that anyone would read anything that we have to write or anything, listen to anything we have to say on the podcast. Yeah. The podcast is one of those things where, like tens of thousands of people listen to the podcast every week. And quite frankly, I just wanted to do the podcast with Molly as an excuse to have 30 minutes of uninterrupted time to talk to my wife once a week. Like I would do that. It's a bonus that people listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm such a loser. I haven't listened yet, but I will. I'm going to join those tens of thousands of people.
You have 5 children.
When
you don't have time to listen to podcasts. Come on.
Time to go to the bathroom.
As soon as you guys started talking, I'm like, these are people that I really like. So I'm going to definitely listen. I love how, Rachelle, you bring all of us together. You're amazing. Thank you.
I love it.
I don't know. I'm something. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but I do have to say, Melody, since you haven't listened, first of all, I get so excited when I get my notification that there's a new episode of Teaching Keating. It usually happens when I'm getting ready for a walk. So it's like perfect. And like you tell me, Melody, like you got to live your life and enjoy. Don't do emails. So I'm listening. But in honor of your birthday, I think that you should do yourself a favor. And I'm pretty sure Weston might slightly disagree with me on this one. Go for Adventures in Babysitting.
I love that.
Going like 80s theme.
Yes.
Weston is not a fan of the movie. Ever.
That's a whole separate deal.
We can all align on our affinity for Elizabeth Shue.
Yes.
That is common ground we can all find. Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah.
Rachelle, this is bait. I'm not taking this bait.
Yeah,
I am outnumbered here.
You know what?
I need to know more about. No, I'm sorry. Please tell me more. Like, this is juicy and I like it.
I was just going to say, like, it's funny because I will listen to it. And there are times when before Molly even says anything, I'm just like, I'm totally with her on this one. And then like Weston, I'm like, I'm totally with him on this one. And so some of them, like Nacho Libre, I was like, I'm not a fan of that movie. I'm sorry to say. And there have been other times where I'm with like one of you or the other, but I have to say that like when I see the movies come through, like Step Brothers, I was dying just even at the thought of the two of you talking about it. And there are so many gems, like just the parts that you play. And what was the one? I kept thinking, Dude, Where's My Car? But it was the Dude Perfect.
Yes.
I just love how, and I think I was thinking about this earlier too, because for educators who are looking for something to listen to kind of get away and break away from like everything that's going on, but not totally break away from it and just to have fun and laugh, even though it's kind of at your expense sometimes because you're making fun of each other, but it's in good humor. But there's always such a good message in it. And the obviously the connection between the two of you, like the banter back and forth, it's just really enjoyable and brings a smile to my face. So that's why I always share it. And when I was listening to Step Brothers, I thought, I know you get so many. First of all, I thought, wow, you have like 10,000 people listening. I get excited when I have 40. What? Me?
Okay. Can you?
Yeah. Okay. But I came up with 2 for you.
No, the last 30 seconds we didn't hear anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it.
I heard it too. Yeah. Ooh, I'm wondering if. Yeah.
Well, okay. I heard it.
You know what? It wasn't important. So
we're with you, Michelle. We got it.
I'm dying to know your 2 recommendations.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to think of what they were. And actually something Molly said earlier ties into one of them. First one after Step Brothers was Old School.
Yes.
And then I thought about Office Space.
Oh, Office Space would be great. Old School would be great too.
I love
Office
no,
Space.
wait. I lied. I had 3: Office Space, Office Space, Old School, and the movie Accepted. If you ever saw Accepted,
we saw it because it was we put it in the book.
Oh yeah, I was like,
did.
I was sitting here thinking, haven't we done Accepted?
Yeah.
There's an Accepted example in the book, but we haven't done the
We do some. I mean, it all runs together.
That's
girls,
the one with the 2 girls.
You know.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean,
Accepted is a great
it's really
movie.
funny.
Super
it is.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I feel like such a loser. I haven't listened in, but here, so you guys talk about movies and you talk about education. You just laugh your butts off. Is that what it is?
So we use movies and pop culture as a jumping off point to talk. So for example, Step Brothers. We use Step Brothers as a lead into a conversation about like why you connect with some kids and some people more easily than others. And we talked about like the science behind brain coupling and resonance and what that means for us as parents and as educators, right? And so the movie is always just a launch pad because, I mean, like Rachelle said, there are so many people who are like, ooh, I like this movie, and they'll tune into the podcast because they love the movie. We actually said on Step Brothers, like, we would like to do more highbrow films, but no one listens.
Yeah.
They listen when we do trash, like Step Brothers, and like because
that is not trash. Will Ferrell is amazing.
It's
he is
one of
amazing.
the most favorite movies of all time.
He's so like the guy is. Like,
but if we do Citizen Kane, nobody's gonna listen.
Yeah, no,
I would listen.
I would not. I would be out.
Yeah,
Rosebud. Just say Rosebud.
Right. Yeah. Like random, like every movie that's nominated for Academy Awards every year, like those are the movies we don't do because nobody, unless you're like the 5 people that have seen them, it's like, that's not, and we try to pick movies too that actually have resonance. So we're not just like, oh, that would be really popular. And like, what are we going to talk about? We usually pick topics first and go through what the learning is, and then we try and make, what would be like a good fit or what, how can we broach that? What's a good way to tie that movie in? So we're not totally
so like
just like playing to the pop culture all the time.
Like with Office Space,
though.
the place my brain goes to immediately, and Rachelle, correct me if your place, like Office Space, I go to like, okay, like what do you do if you're working within a toxic culture,
I was gonna say,
or you're just profoundly unhappy with your job right now? Like, what are some coping mechanisms? Like, that's where I would go with the podcast if we're doing Office Space.
When we do it. Thank you, Rachelle.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And you could talk about like meetings that you don't actually have to be like in person or crowding around to get the cake. No, I'm just kidding.
So much.
Yes.
Yeah. It's full. Lot of content there. Yeah.
Plenty.
Yeah, I love it. I'm definitely going to join in because I love laughing. And so you guys, you have a new website. Tell us about your new website that's up. What does it feature?
Yeah, so you can go to WestonKieschnick.com, and that is a great resource, not only for the podcast. You can find every single episode of the podcast from 100 all the way back to 1, which is great because a lot of those you can't find on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. So yeah, you can find blog posts there. You can book myself, Molly, and or both of us for speaking engagements on that site. Or links to any of the books, any of the content that we put out.
It's all one-stop shop. We have different places. Like we had the podcast. We still have a podcast website, but it's kind of all over, and now it's all consolidated in one site. It's beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. You guys are like, just the fact that you work together so well is pretty dang amazing because it's not.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep us on here enough, you'll see a great fight. Yeah.
That's real, Lou. It's
yeah. I love it. Okay, so I'm sorry, Rachelle, and tell me to shut up if you want me to shut up. I know I always talk way too much. Okay.
That's not my style when we're live.
I know. Send me a private message, whatever. What have you?
I already did. No, I'm kidding.
So we have come. This is something that we always try to talk about. I try to prepare you a little bit before this. Your sweet and sour of the week. And anybody who's watching and tuning in, we want to hear from you too. It makes us, it fills us with life to hear from other people too. So we did this from our Lemonade Learning guests, and tell me, Brianna and Lainey. I always get everything wrong. Yes. And so we try to do this every week because it's just good reflection. And so who wants to start? We're going to start with the good, the sweet of the week. And I'm looking at you, Rachelle, but that's okay if you want to pass. Like,
fine. I will go first with the sweet of the week. We started hybrid last Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday. And then, so this was like the first full week, and it is tough, but I had some wins because I only need like 10 pieces of equipment now to actually feel like I got everybody involved. But even though it's difficult, it is so good to see the kids, even though, you're not seeing them all at the same time because they're split groups and different days and everything. But I've been exhausted just ever since, I don't know, March, I think.
Yeah.
But now, even like driving into school this morning, I was just so tired and thinking like, am I even going to get through this day? Just knowing all that's involved with it. And as soon as first period, I don't have any kids coming in because they're all at home, but just those interactions. And then when they did start to come in, just to see them and just standing outside in the hall as they're passing by, it's a really great feeling. So that's my sweet.
I love it.
Awesome. Okay. Weston and Molly, what about y'all?
Yeah.
What is your
Mine is similar to that. I really am so thankful and grateful for my children's teachers. So they have been in Colorado. I was saying to Melody before we hopped on, we're kind of all doing a hodgepodge. So everybody's doing something different, but our kids are currently in. They're about to be out. They have one more weekend and then we're going to take a break. But I'm so thankful for their teachers and just like how happy they are entering into school building with their masks and getting temp checked and like the rolling entrance. It sounds like cumbersome for us. And we thought it was going to be a big deal, like when they started, and they're so happy, just the joy, like bounding out of school, and they're like little faces for both of them. So that's definitely my sweet. I'm thankful that we got this far. I'm thankful for their teachers. I'm thankful that for all the hard work. It's been a gift in so many ways. So just bring that again. A lot of joy in my house. My kids are happy, and that makes me happy.
Yes. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That was good. Is it me? Okay.
It's your turn.
All right. I have to subcategorize. So this is how obnoxious I am. I was gonna raise up my kids' teachers. Like they are the sweet of my week because they're crushing it. They're crushing it.
Are.
And they're working so hard, and the work that they do behind the scenes, it's one of those things that only as an educator do you know how much work they're putting in to make the thing they do look so easy and so seamless and so effortless. I know it's not effortless. And so they're sweet for me too. The educators that I got to work with this week, before I got on with all of you, I was just with the Louisiana Association of Computer Using Educators, and the folks at LaQ are amazing. Tammy Seneca was awesome, and that whole organization. It fills my buckets to be able to work with educators around the country. I got to do that today and yesterday, and I'll get to do it again more next week. Oh, this glare coming in is awesome. And then just as so this is so obnoxious, but like this is a sweet for me, right? Like anytime I get to sit and talk with people whose company I enjoy, and alongside my wife, a person who I love, and get to talk about education. Like that checks a lot of boxes for me.
We're real geeky like that. I love it.
And it's not lost on me that, not a lot of people get to be married to a person that they love and are friends with, and get to have conversations about things that they're interested in.
Thanks, hon.
And this is already so I'm saying this. So
I like it. Keep it coming.
I'll put a hard, you know what? I'm going to do an exclamation point, just period, end of sentence. Let's move out of this. Yeah. Super sweet.
Well, we're going to do our sour.
It's hurting my molars.
Yeah.
No, I love that. That is so wonderful. How long have y'all been married?
11 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, hey, after you hit the 10-year mark, like seriously, if you still have all of that going, kudos to you as amazing. I think it's great.
I feel like the first 10 are just getting through, you're having children and you're working or doing all this stuff. And I finally felt like, not finally, that. But I think, we hit a good stride, like that second you hit double digits and your kids are getting older and you like each other still and you can have conversations and like wine night and it's just good. So, yes. Little
And it
bits
really
of
helps.
here and there.
And it helps when your kids can do a lot of things by themselves.
They
Like
can go to the bathroom by themselves.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off things.
The day you can tell your kids, like, go put your shoes on,
Right.
and they do it.
Hi.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is
a
right.
game here.
Yeah. Yeah. We're out of boosters right now, which like that's a whole nother like what? Yeah. Anyway. Little wins. Hashtag
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Definitely. I am so excited. I cannot wait to like get into your all's podcast. I'm so excited. And yes, and I would have to say that my sweet is so my husband got me this cheesecake. Everything is shutting down again. We're back into the red. So all of my plans, I can't go to Vegas. I probably our babysitter just called and said that she's been exposed to COVID. Praying for her. So hopefully she doesn't have it, but she's quarantined. So all my plans have been completely annihilated, but that's okay because my husband got me cheesecake and I'm gonna have karaoke Zoom party tonight. So yeah, I feel like that's my sweet. Like regardless of what's happening, there's still good things happening along the way also.
And you're entering into a new bomb decade, which is great. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And
Also, when you enter into that decade, you'll start using bomb again.
For the four of us on that podcast who still use language on the podcast.
Welcome.
Who's where
No,
am I?
bomb.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, some of us never stop using it. Totally understand. Understand. I use it sometimes too.
Amazing.
And I think
so
our
happy about that.
I think our earlier time is, I hope somebody else will chime in and tell us, but because we're no comments are coming in, now it is time for the sour. Are you ready for the sour?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's whip around.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do
Who's going first with the sours?
You called me out first last time. You're not doing that this time.
Yeah.
First, our kids are back going remote, which that is a sour for a myriad of reasons. But I'm thankful for the health and safety and keeping everyone safety. It's just a sour for me personally because our house is about to be. Here we go again. It's just about to be a gong show, and that's okay. It is what it is at this point, but it's not sweet. I can't even try and make it sweet. So I'm going to be positive about it, but it's not ideal. Yeah.
You're just being real. You're just being real.
Have to.
Yeah.
Like that couple, what are they? The couple that makes the songs, the parody songs?
Oh, I haven't heard, but maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm in the education vein. I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't remember their names, but they make funny. They remind me of you guys. Yeah, they're very similar. They just sing songs. They don't have a podcast. They sing songs and they make parodies. But anyway,
They
totally
sound amazing.
real. They are.
It's very fun. Yeah.
All right. Another sour.
Okay, here's my sour. My sour again is linked to remote learning, and because we're going back to remote learning, I'm proactively sour about the number of parents in my own community who I will hear say like, I feel like I'm doing the teacher's job.
Yeah.
I sour on that comment because my response is always like, I'm sorry, like I was under the impression educating children was our job, right? And what I hope is like, I hope we can use this time to restore sort of the handshake agreement between us and parents and at-home caregivers to say like, hey, while kids are in school, we're going to do A, B, and C, but when they're home, you got to do D, E, or F. So I'm soured on the relationship that some parents and caregivers have with school and the level of outsourcing that's been done to our nation's schools.
Sure.
Our schools were never designed to take on 100% of the workload of educating our children, and I'm sour about it, and I won't say anymore.
That's just a small
I love it.
for this week.
And I'm even more riled up because as the sun comes in this window, I'm literally getting like baked alive. Oh, sorry. No, okay. We'll be totally fine.
You know what? Like I just have like 3 hours left of sunlight. So you guys are so lucky. I don't even have sun coming in here. It's going to be midnight for us in like 3 hours.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've been to Alaska. Hey, more time to party. Let's just make that
That's
happen.
right.
Anyway, it doesn't feel so awkward that I'll be opening my wine like in the middle of the day. Like there's no problem in that. Whatever.
Totally support it. No judgment. You're in the nest.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
What's the sour, ladies?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Michelle, what's your sour?
I don't think I have a sour. I mean,
Oh, boo! No. Boo! No! Don't cheer. No.
no.
I'm saying yay. You don't have to listen to him. That's great.
Let's see. What is my sour? I really I don't know.
You don't have to think of one if you don't have one. That's right.
I think the only thing that makes me sour is just that everything feels so much more difficult right now. Like it's challenging, and teachers I just hear so many conversations where they just feel like they're drowning. There's so much, they're trying to balance all these things. And it's not my own sour, it's just in general, it is a struggle. And then part of that ties into like, is my sweet was seeing the kids, but the sour is that even though I'm seeing some of them, now that we're in the hybrid, I don't know if I'm seeing all of them, even the kids that are at home. So I feel like even though I'm gaining that connection with some of the kids, some of my sour is also like, I'm not seeing them. They're not there. They're not engaged. And it's so much harder. And I don't know. That's not a great sour, and I should be celebrating with Melody this weekend too. But
that's a sour for sure.
That is a sour.
It is. It's a sour. It's a sour. But I'm alive. I mean, yeah. So it's all good. But we should be celebrating. We will be celebrating. And I don't know. My sour is just. I mean, I hate COVID. I'm so sick of it. I just.
So weird. Great.
We're all freaking over it.
Right.
It's effing up our lives, and I'm tired of COVID.
Melody.
Sorry. I didn't say the real word. Good night.
I know. I'm just
Holy
kidding.
moly. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I got cheesecake and wine, so
Right.
it's all looking okay. It's perspective. But no, as the whole world is turning again, we're going through another season of where COVID feels like it's a little bit too much for us to handle, and so that's kind of like I go back and forth between feeling anxious for my family, and then trying not to be anxious for my kids, because when I'm anxious, I don't want them to feel anxious. They're safe. We have everything we need. We're very blessed, very privileged, and I know that. And so I don't want my anxiety to bleed into them. It sometimes gets very difficult to do that. So that would be my real sour.
Yeah.
So
amen. I know he's looking at me.
I hear that.
Just look at me. That's your
but a case of wine showed up today, so I'm like, so anxiety.
You're good.
Yeah, I love it.
And it is happy hour.
Yeah.
It is. Very soon it's on.
It is.
So before we go today, and I want to say, Weston and Molly, you guys are amazing. I hope we can have you on again. And I'm going to listen to your podcast in the meantime, so I can laugh and have inside jokes with you and everything like that. But before we go, I always ask, and Rachelle, you too, what is one thing that's burning on your mind that you just want to share before we close it for the weekend? Any reflections? Anything deep or funny?
Positivity?
Yes. I hate it.
No, you said that. I'm surprised I can still say it that way. No, I don't.
Can't say it.
I've got nothing right now.
Positivity. I'm guessing it's like toxic over positivity.
Yeah, she just jumbled it up like a couple weeks ago.
Can't say the words. I don't even want to try to say it. It's just not going to come out right. So I'm not.
I like it the way she said it better.
But it really burns me. Toxic positivity. I said it.
Yeah.
It burns me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have?
I'm sorry. I'm such a talker. I'm really trying so hard to not talk over and listen to.
Oh my gosh, you are fine. Totally
really active listening. I feel sort of like the palpable weariness of everyone right now, just like culturally in the community and my kids' friends and parents and teachers. So I am just thankful that we've gotten this far, and I'm thankful for all of the teachers, and want to say, just stay the course. Everybody in education, don't let everything that's happening in the world right now bring us down, which sounds so contrite and really hard. It's very difficult to do, but sometimes I think it's a group effort, and we always can't be the strong ones. Wes and I talk about this a lot too, because sometimes he'll come home just super pissy and angry and whatever, and then I have to take the role of keeping it together for all of us, and vice versa. So we just need that for the culture, for education currently, it's pretty heavy right now. So just have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. Drink as much wine as you want tonight. And work's going to get done. The kids are going to get taught. It's still going to be great at the end. They're all not lost, and it's talking about toxic positivity, but I feel the need to constantly say that, just because there's so much coming at us. It's really important to keep a good attitude when we can. That doesn't mean you have to have it all the time. I'll have it. You can't have it right now, but I'll have it, and then we can trade off. But I'm just feeling that a lot right now. Yeah.
And I don't think it's toxic to claim positive. I think it's just toxic when you try to pretend like it's not really there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Agreed.
what makes it toxic, to ignore it or not acknowledge it at all.
Right.
But I totally, and these affirmations, like what you're saying, Molly, I have to all the time say those to myself. Yes. Just
All the time. Yeah.
Molly's gonna give me such a hard time about this because,
I know what you're gonna say.
well, you're about to, because I'm about to say it. Molly gives me a hard time because she says I always steal her material.
Yeah, he does. Not always. He totally steals my material all the time. All my jokes, all my good jokes, you've heard him say at some point.
Yeah, I'm gonna end the time together by stealing something from Molly that she said, and it has resonated with me so much, and it's a thing that I've tried to tell every educator that I've come in contact with since I heard her said it, which is like, please, in the age of global pandemic and remote and hybrid and face-to-face instruction and whatever it's going to look like, please don't light yourselves on fire to keep everyone else warm.
That's not mine. I think I heard it somewhere else, but it's still good. I got it from
Molly. I credited her. Hashtag citations.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, I think it's an important message for all of us right now. There will always be more, and if you're feeling like you're failing, if you're feeling like you're overwhelmed, know that you're not alone, and don't light yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm. Tend to your own social emotional wellness. Tend to your families. You can't fill from an empty vessel, so make sure you take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Amen.
Amen. Is there anything else before we go, Rachelle?
Nope, just happy birthday for tomorrow.
Happy birthday. Hey, ladies, thanks so much for all you're putting out into the education space too.
This was lovely.
This is a nice way to end things on a Friday. And I appreciate you ending it when you did, because the light, it's like I'm an ant underneath a magnifying glass right now.
Oh, the drama.
It's overwhelming.
It's like ironic. You're like, don't light yourself on fire as you're lighting up.
As I'm about to burst into flames.
So dramatic.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you guys so much. It was a blast. And to everybody who's been watching us, whether it was on Twitter, YouTube, our Facebook community, if you're not in our Facebook community, we want to invite you again, facebook.com/groups/thriveandedu. We welcome you, and we'll see you again on Monday. Take care, everybody.
Happy weekend.
Bye, everybody. Thank